are listening to IRLoneStar.com. It's Wednesday, it's noon, so it's time for Hanging with the Hayters.
Whoa! You know, Kay would normally sound more excited than that, but folks, have you looked outside?
It's raining.
It's raining. What you call your proverbial cats and dogs, Kay.
So far,
and
about
that has
5
a
inches
source,
at our house.
But I don't know what it is. But anyway, yeah, it brought me back to the time when I was teaching and it rained so hard you're thinking, I wonder if they'll call school off. So you're always excited. You know, teachers get excited too. And anyway, Dick didn't call and say, oh, hey, man, don't come in here. I mean, Cindy even came in,
The streets were fine coming in.
Cindy Cochran showed up. I didn't know.
Honey.
I was shocked. No, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, she's got 5 days a week, and I would have taken this day off were I her. But I did get to listen to her fashion tips for Hillary Clinton, which I thought were pretty much like me giving Ted Cruz advice on what he should do to his nose and ears. But that's just me.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's
But
depart
Cindy.
from that subject.
Oh, yeah, depart. Cindy, Kay, you're not Cindy anymore. You're sitting
No.
right where she used to sit.
I haven't been for quite a while.
I know. Today's show is going to mostly be about toys. Kay, I got this idea about toys, the toys we used to play with, and the toys perhaps today that we play with, and trying to keep it as clean as we possibly can. And I sent the message far and wide to listeners to come up with ideas for their toys and comments. And we're going to
The toys
do that.
they liked to play with when they were
Yeah.
younger.
Okay.
All
And
right.
we'll
this
talk
should
about
be
that
interesting.
starting the second segment. But today there are so many things going on this week. Kay, first of all, I would like to congratulate Kay Hayter. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday, she started the lawnmower all by herself. I kid you not.
I did. Now, Mark was standing there pointing at things, to say, push that, do the choke.
And boy, if you'd have seen that arm, man, it just yanked back and it was really something.
And then I mowed the yard.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I was still favoring my arm, and I said, Kay, I can't. Really, don't make me. And she mowed the lawn.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of woman she is.
Yeah, and I wore a mask for part of the time, but apparently I didn't wear it long enough because, boy, do I have the sniffles now. The old allergies have set in. The car's turning yellow as we speak.
Well, it's getting wet and yellow. By the way, we've got a box of Kleenexes up here, courtesy of Kay. And, we'll create diversions. We'll call for something, and we're really blowing our nose. I was looking at the news over the week, Kay, and there are certain things that just stuck out to me, and a lot don't have anything to do with Conroe, Montgomery County, but one does. I was looking at the front page of the Sports Monday, and there it is, Silver Gloves champion. Willis Middle Schooler David Ramos wins National Boxing Championship.
Wow.
The kid is in junior high.
Wow.
And I have Facebooked his trainer, a guy by the name of Lane, and asked if we could get him on the show, both Robin Lane and David Ramos here, and just find out what makes a person get into boxing. Kay, I only had one boxing fight in my life, and I didn't know it was going to be that. This kid called me a bad name, so I jumped on him to wrestle him, and he hit me right in the face.
Ooh.
And I thought, you don't do that. That's not the way we fight. And so I had to quit because I quit. Look at this honker, Kay. You touched that nose.
I'm sorry. Was it at school?
No, it was actually in Gary Bell's front yard.
Oh,
But that's neither here nor there. And Gary Bell wasn't the guy that did it, but his big friend Ron did. Isn't it weird how you can remember the name of people who, this was 50-plus years ago, and I can remember Ron. I just smacked
Not me. I have a terrible memory for that kind of thing.
Well, we've had our fights, but ours are good because, and I've mentioned it before, Kay keeps putting her thumb inside her fist. And if she hits too hard, it'll hurt her thumb, so she can't hit very hard. Kay, I hate to give you that secret.
How many times have I hit you?
Not that many, Kay. I don't.
And when I do, it's on your arm.
Exactly. I have tackled you several times in some of our football games, and they're just in some.
I have been abused.
Yes.
Mark's brother Larry has slapped me trying to knock a football down,
and he threw one right in your face once.
And then he threw a ball and hit me right in the face.
Yeah.
So
and
I wasn't thrilled with playing.
Yeah.
football.
Okay, I don't know what comes over a person. You're sitting in the lounge chair and all, you're feeling real good, and all of a sudden your wife walks by, and you say, I can't pass up this opportunity. And I just jump up and wham, tackle her, and just knock her on the couch.
Not lately.
No, not lately.
You know,
Kay,
there's some things about aging that are
good. No, there was no follow-up on that. It just occasionally you want to hit somebody, like the old football days. And speaking of which, Kay, Peyton Manning.
He retired.
He needed to.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
That way he'll be around for a long time, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Peyton Manning. It just won't be on the field.
That's true. Oh, man, he could be the correspondent anywhere. He could even be a news correspondent in Afghanistan if he wanted to. He's that good, Kay.
I'm sure.
And now the Texans are going to try to get Denver's second-string quarterback, who will now be their first-string quarterback. And he did okay for Denver at the start, but he had one of the greatest defenses around. And I don't know what he'd do for us.
I don't know about that stuff.
Kay, you do too. No, she doesn't, folks.
No.
She's not lying. She does not know. Anyway.
Ask me about the Puppy Bowl. I can tell you about that.
Oh, man. Kay, I was thinking about stuff I looked at today. Folks, we're still on this diet and it's hurting, but I saw pizza on a stick. It's like a popsicle stick. Did you see those?
Was that rodeo food?
No, this wasn't. I don't think. Pizza on a stick. It was a small pizza, really, but it looked good.
Good,
rodeo.
huh?
They had
it
a
was
lot.
like a one bite of pizza on a stick.
It really was.
Like
I think you could make it two. I'd probably have one. And then, Kay, they had the deep-fried candy bar, and it had a batter. I'm talking, it looked kind of like a corn dog, not a canned dog. Those are bad. But a corn dog, and it just had a Snicker bar in it. That would be so good.
Several years ago, I think we were at the Catfish Festival or something, and they'd taken frozen slices of cheesecake.
Oh, yeah.
Stuck a stick in them and then dipped them in that chocolate that turns solid.
Like
when
an
it gets
Escobar
cold.
pie.
I thought that was genius.
Yeah,
I
Dad used
really
to take us every Wednesday night after church to pay us back for having to go to church and miss TV. Dad would take us to Dairy Queen. And
every Sunday night?
No, not every Sunday. Probably every eighth Sunday, Wednesday night. And we would get
once every 5 years with my
an
family.
Escobar pie. Okay, we have got a caller already. What time is this? 12:09. Hey, caller, welcome. This is Mark Hayter. You're on Hanging with the Hayters with
Hello,
Mark
caller.
Kay.
This is Kay.
If you could give me your name and ask your question, whatever.
Well, this here is Harley Blevins. I'm the manager on duty over at the Cut and Shoot Toy Corral, and I heard you was going to be talking about toys, and so we're thinking about sponsoring this show.
Sponsoring Hanging with the Hayters? Harley Blevins?
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you say this was...
We have lots of new toys and toys that have been repurposed over the years.
Oh, my word.
And
that,
we'd like to
sounds
get
wonderful.
the word out for
Yeah,
people to come to Cut and Shoot.
I love
You're
that.
scratching me where I itch here, Harley. Give us some examples of what you got here. We want to...
Well, we got the Tie Me Up Elmo doll with the zip ties. We got lawn dart dodgeball. The Etch-a-Scratch home tattoo kit, razor, who's got the razor?
Oh, my.
You got your bed spring slinky, your rat mobile, Mr. Potato Bug. And my favorite for the girls is the Magic Chef Easy Bake Oven Stray Cat Edition.
Oh, my gosh. Harley?
That's
wow.
Yeah.
You can make your Rubik's Cube steaks with that little Magic Chef oven thing.
There's no question. I didn't know there was a toy barn, but I'm impressed as I can be. And I tell you what, I'm going to get you in touch with our financial advisor. And you're there in Willis?
No, sir. We're the Cut and Shoot Toy Corral.
I get you mixed up. Toy Corral.
We're just a mile off of 105 east of Conroe.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Repurposing, that keeps all that stuff out of the landfill.
It really does. And, I'm especially interested in...
we do have Larry the landfill agent, too. So there's lots of toys for every man, for every woman, for every child.
We've got you as our sponsor, and then we got what is the landfill area over there? We would be up there. We'd get some serious bucks, maybe $10, $20 a week.
Well, we hear you're going on the FM radio soon, so you're going to be heard throughout the county, and we like that. So we're looking to get more business, and we're doing it with Mr. Mark and K. Hayter.
Wow. Okay, Harley. Once again, I tell you what, don't call our accountant consultant.
Business manager.
He'll call you. He'll find you right there at the toy store.
Okay. I'm going to hold one of those Magic Chef Easy Bake Oven Stray Cat Edition. I'm going to hold one of those back for Kay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, let me ask you this. Before you leave, Harley, I know I've heard your name before associated with Brad Meyer, and I was talking to Brad last night, and he said something about he had a gig to go to. Have you talked to him recently? Is he going to that one today?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. You don't know Brad Meyer?
I'm real sorry. I don't get out of cut and shoot much.
Okay.
So
I can understand
I don't know that individual.
Well, I was just wondering if the inclement weather stopped him, but I'll give him a call later and find out just to see.
Okay.
All right, Harley,
well,
thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mark Hayter.
Well, thank you so much
see ya.
for calling.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
You know, Kay Harley is so polite. I mean, he's just not exactly plumb, but...
he sounds like family to me.
He sounds somewhat like family,
yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, he fit right in here.
You know, that was appropriate, too.
I'll
I
have
mean,
to
we're
get
going to be
on
talking about toys
Ancestry.com and see if we're related.
Yeah. Anyway, so many other things. I have a correction to make, Kay, something I said last week. I was talking about the Supreme Court.
How did you know you made a mistake?
I actually listened to one of our shows, and when I heard it, I said, oh, my gosh, can't believe nobody's written in or kicked
well,
my
see,
buns.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah. I was talking about the
Go ahead.
Marbury versus Madison case, and I mentioned today, I said there are 5 liberal and 5 conservative justices, and
there's only 9.
There's only a total of 9, but now there's only a total of 8.
Right.
And
4 and 4.
Once again, when I say liberal, I would say 3 of the 4 are liberal. One of them is just you never know which way he's going to go. He usually breaks
more centrist.
ties. And I mean, when the person who passed away. Scalia passed away. He was definitely conservative, and he did not break any ties. It was always 4-4, and who is going to do it? Justice Potter, whoever Stewart. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry I said that, and so many people were going about their life this last week thinking that there were actually right now 10 and soon to be 11.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that up.
Okay, did you know that Roosevelt wanted there to be 15 justices on the Supreme Court?
Which Roosevelt?
Franklin, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because
no, I didn't know that.
The 9 they had kept vetoing his New Deal program, so he said, I tell you what we'll do. Why don't you guys pass a law to make
He had a good reason.
He had a great reason, Kate. Boy, that hurt him. Anyway.
But he did pass the New Deal at some point. So
okay, I've got this, late bulletin right here. What do they call it? News?
Breaking news.
Breaking news right here. I don't know if you're aware, but according to this thing, I probably need to give you a little background information, and that is the fact that Waterworld is canceling in time their whole orca.
SeaWorld?
SeaWorld, thank you. What did I say? Waterworld? That was a movie. Didn't do very well. Anyway, SeaWorld is, and they're getting rid of the orcas, but to replace it, I've got this late bulletin, and it's really good. What they're going to do is have a floating Volkswagen, and out of it are going to come 300 clownfish. And that's going to be their, I think it's wonderful, Kay.
I love clownfish.
She loves
Nemo.
clownfish. I know.
Nemo is a clownfish.
I had to point one out to you a while back. Kay, if I'm not mistaken, we are just about ready for a break. Dick, I don't know. I think we are. We're going to come back with Hanging with the Hayters. We're going to talk about toys and some of these suggestions or ideas people gave us about toys. Thank you so much. Hanging with the Hayters, irlonestar.com.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that drinking and driving do not mix. Drinking and driving causes an alcohol-related fatality every hour in the United States. Stay sober and stay alive.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoors Show, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 on Lone Star Internet Radio for Texas' premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor talk show. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and pull up that stool a little closer to the old campfire, because if you can catch it or kill it in Texas, we're going to talk about it. That's right. bucks and ducks, gobblers, monster bass, redfish, trout, and a whole lot more. Plus, you never know what outdoor celebrity is going to drop by, from Phil the Duck Commander Robertson to fishing legend Bill Dance or everybody's favorite uncle Ted Nugent. Heck, we might even mix in an interview and hear some brand spanking new Texas music from one of your favorite Texas musicians like Robert Earl Keen, Brandon Ryder, or the honky-tonk kid himself, Aaron Watson. Loved or hated but never ignored, it's the Lone Star Outdoors Show with me, Cable Smith, Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 right here on Lone Star Internet Radio on irlonestar.com.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hanging with the Hayters. We are getting ready to dive right into toys. And once again, I sent out a message on Facebook asking listeners, or people who may not listen, but they occasionally read Facebook comments that I send, to send in ideas about some of the toys they had as children that they really enjoyed for the most part. We're going to look at some of these toys or talk about them. And the other thing we're going to do after this, during the third segment, Kay, I think is, if we have time, we're going to talk about some of the most dangerous toys in the history of toydom in the United States.
There have been some. As a matter of fact, I think we heard about some earlier.
Yeah.
So
anyway, in Rwanda, they have some really serious toys, but this is the most difficult in the United States, or most dangerous. Anyway, Kay, we got many, many responses for toys.
Excellent.
Let me ask you this, Kay, before we get started. And,
sure.
You know, we've been married a lot. I keep mentioning that, but I don't remember you ever saying much about the toys you had.
Well, you know, I know I had dolls and stuff. I wasn't into Barbies, though, or let's just say Mother was again Barbie, so that didn't happen.
That's because she had big
but I had two
bosoms.
brothers, and we just sort of, you know, I played with their stuff. So I do remember one Christmas, and I don't actually remember it, but there are photographs of it, and it was in the mid-'50s.
And you got a pacifier.
I got a holster and gun set.
Okay.
Just like my older brother, Michael. Tracy wasn't born yet, so he was out of the picture. And then I got a girl doll, and he got a boy doll.
Okay, now that's
Were
sick.
my folks ahead of time?
That explains Mike's condition. No, Mike has no condition, folks. But
that was a good Christmas. And a toy train set.
You know, one of my friends, Sherry Suchma, I mentioned her last time. She's just sweeter than everything, and so is her entire family. But she mentioned Barbie. And she said not only Barbie, but she really loved her Barbie with dream house and car. Okay? Can you imagine not only getting the Barbie doll, but there's the dream house.
Yeah.
And she's got a car.
Yeah. Wow. It seems like it was like a turquoise convertible looking car. Like I said, I didn't get them. I didn't really keep up with that. But
I actually read the history of the Barbie doll. And I was going to share that with you, but it's too long, and I forgot a lot of it anyway. But
that's okay.
You know, it evolved a great deal, even from, I mean, it's evolved now to almost a normal, not quite normal-looking person, but more normal than Barbie was. Anyway, that was Sherry Suchma, and you never had a Barbie?
Never had a Barbie.
Jill never had a Barbie?
I had baby dolls, and they were all chubby.
Chubby baby dolls?
You know, they were normal.
Oh,
but,
okay.
You know, I think Barbie may have been the beginning of the unhealthy way girls think their body's supposed to look when nobody has a body like that. Yeah. So
you know, Wesley Moorhead. By the way, I don't know how many of you know, and none of you do. that used to play baseball with him. We rode the bench on during our days at Pasadena High playing baseball. But anyway, he wrote in about the Green Army Men. You know, they had on Toy Story.
Yeah.
Kay, Dennis, and me, or one of us, both of us, played. I don't know. I must have had probably 80,000 Green Army Men, not at the same time, but throughout my life. And oh gosh, you'd lose them in the flower bed, and okay, I could make the best gun sounds and hand grenade sounds, almost as good as Jonathan Winters.
And I think archaeologists, thousands of years from now, will be excavating, and they're going to go, "What is the deal with these little green men?"
That's true. So, they stood up so well.
They're there for eternity, I think.
Yeah. And they showed this on Toy Story, by the way. They have the way they can stand up is they have that platform they're standing on.
Yeah.
And in Toy Story, they'd make it, they'd have to walk sideways back and forth. That was pretty cool. But, oh, man, and then when you got older, you started sticking fireworks in them and trying to see if you could blow their legs apart and stuff. That was sick.
We didn't get fireworks at our house.
No, we didn't either. We played
my
with
mom
other
was
people's
again
fireworks.
a lot of stuff.
But did you have any toy soldiers or anything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah. And that was for playing outside in the dirt.
Oh, yeah. We had cowboys and Indians, and we would have the horse. We'd fight over who gets the white horse, who gets the black or the brown horse, and all. Dennis always won. But, oh, man, that was really great. Back when you could you called Indians, and you didn't know any better because you didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And today we would say, wow, you get the cowboys and Native American set. Oh man, it was fun. Back then, Cochise was on. He was cooler than everything.
On TV?
Yeah. Anyway, the Green Army Men, and there was something mentioned by at least two people. One game was called Don't Break the Ice and Don't Spill the Beans. I'd heard of Don't Spill the Beans, but I don't know how the game plays. But Don't Break the Ice.
Those are, I haven't heard of those.
Sarah Bass.
I do know Sarah Bass. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, not to be mixed up with Shirley Bassey. But Sarah Bass can sing like, oh man,
she has
like a bird.
Beautiful
voice. But she wrote in, and she mentioned the Don't Break the Ice, and I didn't catch it, but it has to do with you've got a window pane with cracks in it, and you get a hammer, and what you do, the glass is supposedly plastic. You try to hit just the right cracked part without the whole window falling down. And so you get your turn, and if you hit it and it doesn't fall down, you're great. The next person gets his turn, and finally it crashes when, there's nothing else to do. And Sarah mentioned that during one of the games when she was there, her teenage daughter was babysitting with her little brother, so I guess she wasn't there. And this thing crashed, and it sent off their burglar alarm. And I think the police showed up. The police were summoned to two very scared kids. Oh, boy, this was before cell phones, ladies and gentlemen. And anyway, fascinating. That must make a big sound. And
it must. When we talk about toys, kind of toys that are popular now, I have one that's maybe a little similar to that.
Related to that? Let's hear it.
Oh, right now? Okay. Well, this was on the hottest toys for 2015. And it's called the Pie Face Game. It costs $19.99. That is like almost $20.
It's so close to $20K, it's scary.
Anyway, you take some whipped cream, or you can use a wet sponge, and it's got a hand on it. And then there's a handle, and everybody goes around and turns the handle. And the hand either releases and you get hit in the face, or it doesn't. So if you turn the handle and it doesn't splat you in the face, then you get a point. So it just goes around.
Game. I wish I'd invented that.
Yeah. Okay.
That was, they didn't have those back then. They had
Pie Face Game. I know everybody's excited.
Pat Carter, once again, tremendously a great lady, lovely lady. She mentioned jacks. You played jacks, didn't you? The ball and the weird.
I did. I never got really good with them, but I was okay.
Yeah, I was okay also, and I don't like to tell everyone that. I don't know if Dennis ever played jacks, but I did. Susan, my sister in Washington State, was great with jacks. That girl, she could throw that ball up pretty high and still manage to do stuff. And also, Pat Carter mentioned she had a rubber band gun, which was her finger. She'd get a rubber band and put it on her finger, and that was one of her toys. That almost made me weep. You know, we all did that with rubber bands, but I guess for Christmas one day she got a box with a rubber band in it. That's sad. Terry Bono mentioned, as did several people, the Etch-a-Sketch. Kay, did you ever have one?
I did, but you know, after about 5 minutes, I was done because I couldn't make anything look like anything that I thought was any good.
Well, you're very talented, and the deal is, though, all you can do is make it go sideways or up, and with the two knobs, and you've got to be pretty coordinated.
But some people, you know, can do works of art.
Oh man, no kidding.
See, I didn't have the patience to figure out how to do it, I guess.
No. I also have the history of that, and I don't remember what it was, but I can vaguely tell you how they're made.
They're still around.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
And you know something? What they tried to do, I believe it was in the 90s, modernize them and not make them all red. And come to find out, people wouldn't buy the ones that weren't red. No, my Etch-a-Sketch has to be red. I don't know what this blue thing is all about.
You want one that looks like the one you had before.
Exactly. Anyway, Pat Carter, others mentioned, that was Terry Bono. She mentioned a game called Trouble. Have you ever, Dick, have you ever heard of the game Trouble? I guess it's a board game. I
want to say yes. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Did you ever play Risk?
Yes.
Is that
They still play a lot of it. There's a computer version, they call it Lux, Lux, and it's competitive online. And then they have different variations of Risk now that are kind of branded. Like you can play, I think there's a Star Wars Risk, and it's just like just different figurines. And my favorite ones, they came out with like Risk like 2025 or some futuristic deal. And they instead of having continents, you have planets and galaxies. So it even has like tiers, like physical upper levels that you move your characters on. So it's the same rules.
Not just two-dimensional.
Yes.
Three-dimensional.
That's like three-dimensional chess, which I got pretty dang bad at. No, I've never played it. But, you know, Eddie Izzard was a comedian. I listened to one of his routines, and he was talking about Risk. He was relating, you know, how people play and all. And it did nothing for me. I couldn't laugh because I don't understand
We
the game.
played Risk, Michael, Tracy, and I. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
I bet that was good. We played
cards a lot, too.
Yeah, you had to, Kay. Don't break the ice, Terry Bono. Army Men, Clint Rock. That's my nephew, ladies and gentlemen. Not all these people do I know who sent in, but Clint didn't even give me a toy. He said that we ought to kill this show and have a show about nothing, and I said we pretty much do. And then he said, why don't you have a show where Jill runs into your car, and then she goes to court, and the judge says she's going to be my maid for... until she pays off the car. That was from a Seinfeld episode, and Clint knows them all. I don't think he knows them any better than me, but anyway, Clint, thanks for the advice. Man, that was nothing short of cool. Sherry Elam, friend, the bee lady. I really like the bee lady. We need to have the bee people on. She mentioned the Slinky. Kay, how many Slinkies did you have, do you think?
A bunch. More than one, I know that.
I think a Slinky is one of those toys that you get, and you go slink, slink, slink. You let it go down a couple of steps, and then you say, okay, I'm through. I don't know what you do beyond that. I do know what we're supposed to do right now. That is take a break, Kate.
Okay.
It is our
Boy, time
30
flies.
It does. It flies when you're talking about nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Hanging with the Hayters on irlonestar.com, and we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes after news, weather, and a couple of words.
At Jazzy Junk, volunteers reclaim, restore, and recycle. Jazzy Junk is a non-profit resale storefront where you will discover wonderful, unique finds at very affordable prices on furniture, antiques, books, art, home decor, and more. When you shop Jazzy Junk, you support New Danville, a community for adults with developmental disabilities. We receive new donations daily, so plan a visit to Jazzy Junk today to find that perfect item or gift. Our motto is here today, gone today. So remember to hurry in and shop often for the best selection. Jazzy Junk is located in the outlets at Conroe on League Line Road and I-45 North. Call 936-441-4500 or visit our website, jazzyjunk.org. That's Junque for more information and store hours.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio here on irlonestar.com and Conroe's, soon-to-be Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1 with Hanging with the Hayters. It is 12:30. We're going to do our traffic and weather for the Montgomery County area. So let's start with traffic because it is pouring rain out there, folks. Please be careful. If you're heading southbound on I-45 from the Willis area, you're going to run into some trouble. There's several accidents on northbound I-45, and people are rubbernecking the heck out of I-45 right now. So please be careful right there by the Willis area and then right there between 1488 and 242. So that means there are accidents heading northbound on I-45 between 242 and 1488, and also right there outside Willis right before 1097. Other than that, looking at 105, 1488, 242, and 1314, everything seems to be going okay. So please get out there on the road, be safe, be driving slow, and turn on your hazards if you cannot see anybody in front of you. I always enjoy that when I drive by and I see that because it helps me see the car a little easier. Right now it's 60 degrees outside, and like you know, it's raining. It's going to be raining all afternoon and all tonight. They project rain to go all the way through Saturday. Humidity is around 93%. Today's high is going to be around 74 and low of 62. And again, I cannot emphasize this enough. It's going to be raining. There's a flood watch for tonight till 6 p.m. It's going to get pretty serious, so please be careful. We're going to get back to the sponsored break and commercial break here on Hanging with the Hayters. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio here on irlonestar.com and soon to be Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Hey, this is Cindy Cochran, and now Conroe can boast of another first. The first morning live talk show, 10 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio, coming straight out of the fabulous downtown Conroe, Texas. Be the coolest guy at the water cooler or the most informed break room dweller by listening to the fun side of the news, local, national, infinity, and beyond. The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hanging with the Hayters here on irlonestar.com. Thanks so much for sticking around with us. We right now we're in a discussion about, it wasn't a discussion, we were just telling you about some of these toys people mentioned, and I've still got two things I want to read to you. One is from Dennis O'Connor, one of the most talented people in the county and one of the most zany, I would call. He's an expert at probably nothing big, but he can do anything well. That's what I would say about Dennis. But and plus he likes the Grateful Dead a lot. Dennis O'Connor wrote this about toys, water balloons. Now that was a pretty big toy back then. We did great illegal fireworks. He was big on that. He mentioned Monopoly. Kay, did y'all play Monopoly?
Yes.
Did y'all play where you could borrow $5,000?
I don't remember.
Okay, we played $5,000, and folks,
was 50 years ago.
If you can play Monopoly and you get to borrow $5,000, that game will last 3 days.
Well, we did have some long games.
We did too.
I will say that. You just leave the board and
I've got a
story
about that I probably won't share with you. You also mentioned Davy Crockett's coonskin caps, his coonskin caps. And guns, the old flintlock Davy Crockett Betsy gun. He mentioned bikes, softballs, and hardballs, anything to play baseball with. And he said, and footballs thrown between cars on narrow blacktop streets and concrete sidewalks and lots of creosoted telephone poles. City boy. Oh,
yeah,
man, Kay, we played in the streets too.
I
but
was too.
We
in
yards.
The hot summer, the creosote at the bottom of the telephone poles, go out there and pop the bubbles and get black on your fingers.
Hey, it is something how inventive we were back then. If you got a ball, you don't just throw it back and forth. You come up with ways. I bet you can't do such and such. Bounce it 4 times, catch it with your mouth. Things like that, Kay, we would do. And anyway, I appreciate Dennis O'Connor sending that. Also, one of my ex-students, Trish Drew. It's Trish Drew Hahn, but I knew her as Trish Drew. Just a lovely young lady. She mentioned her bicycle at the age of 12. And, she said, leaving the house around 9 a.m. and coming back by dark, she misses those days. And I was thinking, okay, when we got our bicycles, Dennis and I, it was just like that. It's like it opened up a whole area of the neighborhood.
Yeah, you could roam further.
I mean, we would walk around the block, but if we had a bicycle, we would ride all through Revlon Terrace. We would ride to the Capitan Theater and park our bicycles.
That was a long way, wasn't it?
It was. But, when Dad worked, we had one car, and it was either that or not go. But we would, in Kay, this was before anyone invented locks for bicycles, and ours never got stolen.
And it was there when you came out?
It was. I don't understand it.
Isn't that great?
It makes no sense, but yeah, you just leave it there without any thought of, oh, no.
Did you have trouble learning how to ride a bike?
I didn't because of, my bike I got when I was 9 years old, and I didn't have any trouble because I had been borrowing Johnny Sutton's bike for a long time, and his was small, and I got to ride it.
Okay.
It was, Dennis and I didn't have bicycles, but Johnny had one, and he let us ride it. And I thought, Johnny, you're nuts, because I would be, if I had a bicycle, I'd be riding it all the time, and I'd never let you ride it. And yet he said, I don't care, I'm not riding it. Go, ride. He was so nice. And then I got my bicycle, and it's a 24-incher. Dennis got a 26-inch height, and, he could barely touch the pedals at the time. He was pretty young, too.
Did your dad help you learn how to ride a bike or anything?
Oh, gosh, no.
My dad did. He's how I know how to ride a bike. I got mine for my 6th birthday. Isn't that cool?
You had to have trainer wheels then.
Nope. No trainer wheels. Nope. My dad helped me learn how to ride. Now, it took me 3 days, and all the kids in the neighborhood, wanted to try it out. So I kind of felt like I couldn't even ride my own bike there for a while. But on the 3rd day, I had it. I was going.
That, and do you remember the color? That's what I wanted.
Blue.
Did you already say that?
No.
Okay, blue.
Blue's my favorite
Mine was
color.
black
Always
and
has
red.
been.
And Kay had a tank on it that just meant, it had a thing that looked like it was a gas tank.
Yes.
It's not.
Yeah.
And it had a chain guard so you didn't get your cuffs caught in it and all. And it had fenders so you didn't get mud splashed up.
Where was your bicycle bought?
At Western Auto.
Sears.
Kay.
I went with Dad to Sears and picked out my bike.
Wow.
That's a good memory.
That is a good memory.
I think that Sears store is still there on the south side of Houston somewhere.
Wow. This ought to be our story, but I think I'll save it for another time, how I got my bicycle. It was just nothing short of wonderful. But anyway, there were something I wanted to mention. We've got so many other toys out there, and I appreciate everyone that wrote in and gave us some ideas, and there's still plenty of them out there. Nobody mentioned a book, though. Sharon Boucher, Shimshak, but I knew her Sharon Boucher, mentioned Plato. Not Plato, Plato. That was a philosopher who, I think he got into Stoicism. I could be wrong. But Play-Doh, D-O-U-G-H-K, did y'all play with that?
Yep.
That was the closest thing to nothing we ever had, because we would have it one day and do stuff, and the next day we'd leave the lid off, and it was just a brick.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Well, yeah. The thing I remember is just laying it down on the color comic page, and it would absorb the colors.
Well, let me tell you this. Silly Putty would. I didn't know Play-Doh would.
Oh, you're right. I'm thinking of Silly Putty.
Yeah.
And Play-Doh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a philosopher. Anyway, I read something, too, about the history of Play-Doh. It was an accident. Not Play-Doh, Silly Putty. It was an accident. The guy made it and didn't realize what the heck he had until he dropped a glob of it on a piece of paper that had print on it, and he picked it up, and it was very, son of a gun, what can I do with this? Anyway, that was that. And I mentioned, Kay, earlier that we were going to talk about some of the most dangerous toys, and I was going to tell you about the history of some of the toys. I don't have a great deal of time, but here's some of the dangerous ones. See if you agree to this. Super elastic, excuse me, folks, my microphone, I know is making noise here. Super elastic bubble plastic. We had some of this. I don't know, you squeeze a little from a tube, and it smells just like something you would sniff to get high.
Airplane glue.
Well, yeah, and you would stick it on a little plastic straw thing, and you would blow it up, and it would make a big bubble, but it was, supposed to last longer than a bubble, and you could play with it back and forth. But, ladies and gentlemen, that stuff you used to blow up, they said it had chemicals that were polyurethane, acetate, kill you in a second type stuff.
PCP, who knows?
Yeah, your PCPs. Anyway, they discontinued it in the 1980s, but Dennis and I did get it. Creepy crawlers. The only problem with creepy crawlers made in 1964, was the fact that the fumes. You're making these things in an oven. It comes with some kind of 300-degree whatever deal, which doesn't sound that high.
A
but
baking oven,
thing.
some sort.
When you're baking it, the fumes are noxious, and anyway, they said that was pretty dangerous. Made a plastic goop thing. Little lady stove. Okay, this little lady stove would heat up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit for a little kid.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. The water wiggle.
Yeah. Oh,
what's
wrong with the water wiggle?
They said it could, that head is just going crazy,
Yeah.
and they said it could hit you in the head, hit you in the eye, and hurt kids.
Okay.
I would say stupid kids.
Now, see, my mother would have
put goggles on.
Yeah, she was into safety big time.
And I apologize for saying stupid kids, because anybody, I could get hit with one of those now, but I don't know if it'd hurt me much. Also, the most dangerous weapon that toy was lawn darts. Hallie, what's his name from the...
Harley?
I don't know.
Our caller?
Yeah, our caller. Was it
Harley?
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, from the cut and shoot place, he mentioned lawn darts, and lawn darts killed a total of 3 kids over a period, and 6,000 kids were admitted. I mean, whoever's keeping records.
With injuries, huh?
With injuries. And I would have never thought, I'd say, how stupid is that? But we had we didn't, but our friends had them, and what we would do with them is throw them over the house, and somebody would be on the other side, and you'd wait for them. You don't know when they're throwing it, and it's like a death waiting to happen. Those things are heavy.
Like Russian roulette.
Yeah, well, not exactly like Russian roulette. Also, vacuform, another toy exposed to a hot plate. One that I did not see any write-up about it, but I happen to know it was very dangerous, and that was the sonic blaster. It would boom. It would make a big explosion because it was sucking in air and just blowing the air out quick and through something that'd make noise. And little children, you know what little children were doing? They were going up to their friends and putting it right next to their head, their ear, and go boom.
That hurt.
I would have had an idea that would happen.
Yeah, I've had something loud go off next to my ear, and it was very painful.
Yeah. Well,
I looked up some stuff.
Let's hear it.
The what's popular now?
That's what I want to know, Kay.
I did.
What can I go out and get?
I've got a few here, and I'm going to give you the prices on them, too.
Thank you, Kay.
Number one that I found was Star Wars Yoda, and it's a 16-inch, has a motorized body which will turn 160 degrees. I think it's got like the laser sword thing going on it. It talks, has 115 phrases, and it sells for only $180.
Talks it does?
It talks.
Wow.
Yes.
$180.
And not Yoda. Pig Latin either.
I would have never thought he came back, but Yoda's back.
Yoda, yeah.
He wasn't even in the last Star Wars, was he?
Yeah.
Yoda.
We have a toy company that's got their own 7-inch Android tablet with their own learning type games. So
for the children.
For the little ones so they can learn. That's only $140.
Yeah, for the children. That is
now, here's one I actually want.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's called the Candy Craft Chocolate Pen, and it's like a writing pen, but you put these tubes of liquid chocolate in there, and then you can write out a message or make a design, and it's got that kind of chocolate in there that turns hard when it gets a little cooler.
And you can eat the message?
I'm thinking great for decorating cakes, cookies,
That's true.
all that stuff.
And you could write a secret message, I love you, and your boyfriend eats it or something, Kay.
Sure.
But don't get a boyfriend.
Only $30, so we may go shopping. The next one is called the Meepazar.
Okay,
and
now you're making them up, Kay.
No, this is real. A robotic dinosaur. Here's what's interesting. It says he has evolving intelligence and personality. He can sense his surroundings and interact in a lifelike way. Now, what that means specifically, I don't know. No. I don't know. Now, here's one that I think is so cool. It's the Big Wheel. It is still one of the most popular toys in America. It was introduced in 1969. It made the Toy Hall of Fame in 2009, and it's It's only, compared to the others, is $60, which seems rather reasonable.
What is it, the big wheel?
The big wheel, it's that tricycle looking that has the big wheel in the front.
It's better than a hoop.
Yeah, it's for probably, 3, 4, 5-year-olds, that kind of thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, there
Still
are so
there.
much about toys we haven't touched, and some of you will be grateful for that, but there's still a lot out there. We are going to come back in just a couple of minutes with a joke and with a story here on Hanging with the Hayters, downtown Conroe, irlonestar.com. Back in a couple.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids are removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
Tune in every Sunday night right here on Lone Star Internet Radio for adventure, romance, thrills, chills, and everything vintage radio drama can bring. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour comes to you every Sunday at 7 p.m. with brand new episodes monthly. Our productions always feature actors, music, and sound effects performed completely live. And now you can enjoy seeing each new episode performed on stage at the Owen Theater in Conroe. Check out www.irlonestar.com for information about upcoming episodes. Relive the glory days of vintage radio drama right here with the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour on Lone Star Internet Radio.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that texting and talking on the phone while driving are not only dangerous, but also illegal in school zones and other posted areas. Drive safely and alert.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Hanging with the Hayters. This is our final episode, and it's generally not episode. I'm sorry, segment.
I was going to say, what?
People, I heard applause out there, and I don't appreciate it. But yes, this is not the final episode, but it is the final segment. And I did tell you I'm going to tell you a joke, and I forgot my joke at home, and I wouldn't worry about it, but it's a long joke. You'd think I could remember it, but I do remember a short joke. Here's a joke, and then I'm going to tell a story. Two old men were talking about their hearing aids. One says, I just bought a brand new hearing aid, and it's the most sensitive one in the market. I can hear faint sounds all over the house. I can hear what's going on in the next room behind this wall. And the other man says, well, what kind is it? And he said, it's about 430. I'm sorry, Kay. That was not that funny. That's an old joke, I imagine. But
yeah.
Once again, Garrison Keller.
I don't know where you got that.
Garrison
okay.
Keller told that joke.
Not one of his better.
Yeah, now for my story. And like I say, I'll say the bicycle one. But I want to say this because it raining so hard out there, Kay. It reminded me of a story I've written about before in the snooze paper, which incidentally, tomorrow in the Woodlands Villager, there will be a Hayter column, and this Sunday in the Trends there will be one because I've got to write an article today. I don't know what it'll be about, but it won't be about this story. Listen to this. Like I say, I've written about it before. There was a time when we were living at home, me and Dennis and the Hayter kids, and Dad was working at a refinery, and he was just making ends meet. We had a total of 7 kids in the family. We were spread out so far that not all of them were living at home at the same time, but I think 5 was the most that ever did. But we were home, and Dad, like I say, made just enough to get by. We lived paycheck to paycheck to where whenever the second Friday would come by, Kay, in a week, 2 weeks, it was like, it's payday, and we would do great stuff. Well, if we ever had any trouble, Dad had to, didn't have any money. So what he would do during weekends, once again, working at the refinery, he would get carpenter jobs because he's a carpenter. And one time he got a job with a guy by the name of Starr, who was a foreman where Dad worked. And Starr had this house in not South Houston, Alameda, Genoa area, and it had a very steep roof, and Dad was going to shingle it. And so he got his brothers, Larry, Dennis, and me, his brothers. His kids, his sons. That's why he had sons, ladies and gentlemen, even though I was a mistake. Sons are supposed to help their dad. So we went up there on this roof, and I was scared to death because it, like say, I was steep, and Dad hammered some 2x4s down so we could kind of stand on them as we're walking. And the first thing we did is tear off all the shingles. Okay? We had those shingles torn off, and all of a sudden, it was like almost instantaneous. It got dark. It started thundering, and Dad said, we're in deep doo, because when we tore the shingles off, there's nail holes all in the roof. You're supposed to put tar paper on to cover that up first before you put the shingles. We had no tar paper on it. So it's not only getting ready to rain, it starts raining, and Dad and Larry Dad gets 2 ropes, ties Larry to one and him to the other, and he said, boys, I need you to keep coming up this ladder bringing tar paper. And son of a gun, lightning striking everywhere. I was scared to death, but Dennis and I kept bringing tar paper up. And we would throw it on the roof, and Dad would grab it and go back and forth with Larry, and they would nail it down. And I kept thinking, my brother's going to die, Dad's going to die, because they're going to get electrocuted. And here I was standing on the ladder, but my thought was, and here's how noble I am, well, if Larry dies, I don't want to be around here anymore, or Dad dies, so I'll go ahead and me and Dennis will hand on the ladder, we'll all go together. But Kate, it was finally finished, and we came down, and Dad went into the house to see if there was any damage, and the ceiling, the sheetrock ceiling in Star's house, had come down in the living room and the kitchen in one of the bathrooms, and it ruined his furniture and had messed up his floor. And Dad wasn't an expert sheetrocker, by the way, but it cost a lot of money. And here's Dad trying to make ends meet, and yet he does something that's going to end up costing him a fortune. And so he went to Star. I mean, Star was there. And Star just looking at it, he wasn't crying or anything. And Dad said, Star, I'm going to make this up to you. He said, I don't know how, but I will take care of this. And Star said, Hayter, I don't want you to worry about it. All things work together for good to those who love the Lord. And I was a kid then, and when I heard that, my thought was, I was standing right there when he said, I said, this man is an idiot. We have ruined stuff. And he said, I thought, oh, that's so trite. God, I was a little kid at that time, and me and Dennis on the way home were saying, oh, man, I'm so glad he's so nice and all. And today, when I think about that man, I think, what a guy. As it turns out, Dad did spend some money buying some stuff, but Star still paid him for after he finished the roof, and Dad didn't do sheetrock, but he did some acoustical ceiling and all in there, and it all came out all right. It worked together for good. And the best part of it, I think, was there was a little boy, not real little, I was probably about 12 years old, standing there looking at a guy who his house was in shambles. And he said, all things work together for good. And that little boy is me. And here it is 55, however many years later. I remember that. And had that not happened, I wouldn't remember it. And that godly man right there sent a message to me that stuck around for a long time. And now I shared it with you. I would like to think
honey.
Dad would have been
that was a good story.
Would have been his.
And true.
Good. It's a true story, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Hanging with the Hayters. I'd like to thank the listeners so much for giving us these ideas and apologize to those who didn't get their toys mentioned today. There's a couple of follow-ups we may do next week, and next week it will be fascinating, eerie fascinating, Kay, on Hanging with the Hayters.
We'll see you next week.
Listeners.